Hey everyone, you are on CUBASTIC channel. After watching this video, you are guaranteed to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Here we go. To begin, let's look at this puzzle. The cube consists of parts of several types. The centers, there are 6 of them, they are in the middle of each side. The point is that no matter what sides we turn, the position of the centers remains still. There are also 12 edges. They have 2 colors on each part, and here they are. There are also 8 corners, each has 3 colors. By their name, it's easy to understand that they are on the corners of the cube, and there are 8 of them. There are 6 faces, and each of them can be rotated clockwise and counterclockwise. Each move has its name. But for your convenience, we also prepared pictures. For clarity. Try turning your Rubik's Cube with me. Top face, clockwise, and then counterclockwise. Front face, which is in front of you, clockwise, and counterclockwise. Right face, with your right hand, clockwise, and counterclockwise. And the left side, clockwise and back. We don't need any other movements. The first stage is the cross. We need to start solving Rubik's Cube from the white cross, which looks like this. Note that it consists only of edges. We ignore corners at this stage. The correct cross will be when all 4 edges are the same color as the center. For example, the blue-white edge coincides with the blue and white center. Red and white coincides with red and white center, and so on. Let's start. Find a white center on a scrambled cube. This is the edge, another edge, corner and center. And our job is to keep the white up. Don't rotate the cube. If you need to rotate it, do it this way. White should always look up. Accordingly, on this cube, the white is here. It's pointing up. Now we have to find the white edges. They could be anywhere on the cube. For example, on the top face near the white, or on the bottom where they are not immediately seen, but most often they are on the sides in front of you, and they can be on any of the layers, on the first, second, or third. And our task is to put each of these edges near the white center. For example, we have such a situation. I want to repeat once again that the edges may be anywhere on the cube, but we start with the ones on top, next to the white center. You don't even need to do anything with them, they are already standing in the right place. Let's go to the edges which are on the second layer, and you can find them by rotating the cube like this. For example, I have this kind of edge. This is what I call a good edge, because it is easy to put it up in just one move. That's how it works. Keep looking for the same edges. Here, for example, there is also an edge in a good position, but on the left side. In this case, we can also raise it up with the left hand in one move. Let's look at this situation. We find an edge in a good position. We are ready to put it up, but as you can see, there is no room for it, because there is already a white edge there. A common situation. If we put it up, the situation on top will not change. So, first we need to make room for our good edge. To do this, turn the top face of the cube until it is free. And then put a good edge up. Consider the situation again, for example, when a good edge is on the left. We can't put it up there, because the place is reserved here. So we turn our top face until there is room for our good edge. Now you know what to do with it. If we put the good edges up and we don't have them on either side, the next step is to put the edges on the first layer. We can find them on the first layer by rotating a cube. For example, this. What about this edge? In fact, you can very easily make it a good edge by simply turning the front face of the cube. This way. In one move, we put it in a good position. And then we know what to do with it. Put it up. By the way, we got one more good edge. Such a bonus. But it may not happen. Almost anything can happen. And when we don't have any more good edges on the second layer, and we don't have any edges on the first layer, we move on to those on the third. And here we have this. And we can also make this edge good in one turn. Front face can make it good on the left, or vice versa, good on the right. And you already know what to do with this too. Here the place is occupied, make room and put. Consider another situation where we have an edge at the third layer. But if we try to put it in a convenient position, we will destroy what is already solved on a top face. In this case, we need to make sure that there is no occupied slot over this edge. There should be free space right above this edge. To do this, we turn the top face clockwise. And now it's free. And then this edge easily becomes good. And then we know what to do with it. Another possible situation is that there are no edges on any of the layers. There are no edges in a good position either on the second layer, on the third, and on the first. This means that edges are on the bottom face of the cube. But don't forget that the white side has to look up. We can only look down and fix with our finger the place where the white edge is, and then return the cube white face up. Now we know where we have a white edge at the bottom. Turn the cube so that it is on the bottom face in front of us. Now all you have to do is make room for it above it. If it's here, you have to make room here. It's white, we turn it until it's free. Okay, no white, so we can put this part up. Like this. Turn the front face 2 times clockwise. Front face clockwise 2 times. We reviewed all situations and now our cross is solved. But remember, we have to make it right by combining all edges in color with adjacent centers. To do this, you just need to turn the top face until we combine as many parts as possible. There may be a situation when we have at some point all parts of the cross in place. Only in this case the cross is considered correct, and on this we finish this stage. But there are other situations. For example, here's one of them. We turn the face, but not all the colors match. If there is only one detail right, this is not enough. We need to keep turning the side until we get at least 2 parts right. Here we have 2 details coincided, red and white. They can have different colors. In my case, these 2 parts don't match. The next situation, when we are turning and we have the same 2 parts, but no longer next to each other, as in this case, but one opposite the other. In order to make the right cross in such situation, you need to learn one easy algorithm. First, consider the situation where we have two neighboring edges on the neighboring sides. For example, one is at the front and the other on the left. That means the back and right edges have to be swept. For example, here we have orange to go to the orange center and green to the green center. To do this, you need to make the following algorithm. Keep the cube solved side to yourself and make the following moves. The right face clockwise, the top clockwise, right counterclockwise, then top counterclockwise, and the right clockwise. If you have done everything correctly, all edges will be in their place. The second situation requires a very similar algorithm. In this case, we should hold the cube in front of us so that the solved edges are in front of us and accordingly behind the cube. We're going to work with the right and left edges. In my case, the blue goes to the blue center and the green goes to the green. And the algorithm will be very similar. We raise the right face, then turn the top side not once, but twice. Lower the right face backwards, turn the top face again 2 times but counterclockwise, and raise the right face. As you can see, the cross is solved. Take your cube in hand and make sure your cross is solved correctly. That is, all 4 edges stand wide up and all of them are the same color as the neighboring centers. This is the end of the first stage of solving a Rubik's Cube, so if you succeed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if something went wrong, just rewatch this part and try again. At the next stage, you should add to the assembled cross corners with white, so that we have a completely solved white side as well as a properly assembled one layer. But we have to solve this stage keeping the cube with white center down. So take your cube and turn it over so that your solved cross is at the bottom. From now until the very end of the solve, we will keep the cube white center down and accordingly yellow up and rotate the cube only in this way. At the bottom, your white cross is in safety. You can't destroy already solved details if you keep the cube so. So, to solve the white side on your cube, you need to put the white corners in their place. So, on your cube, find these white corners on the top side of the Rubik's Cube. I have several of them. Let's start, for example, with this. White, orange, blue corner. In addition to the white color, there are 2 more colors on it. In my case, it's orange and blue. You may have other colors. In order to put it in its place, it must be between its centers. Its right place will be considered as a place between the same centers as its colors. In addition to white, we have blue and orange, and the centers around it are red and green. This option doesn't suit us, so we have to turn the top side like this and watch our corner to put it between our centers. With this manipulation, we placed the blue-orange corner between the blue and red center, despite the fact that one center coincides, the other doesn't, so the corner is still not in its place. We turn it further and watch attentively. Now the blue-orange-white corner stands between the blue and orange center, and only here is its place. But each corner has a feature. It can stand in 3 different positions. For example, on this cube my corners stand in their places, but in different positions. Blue-red stands between the blue and red center, and white looks to the right. The adjacent corner, bluish-orange, stands in its place between the blue and orange center, but white looks to the left. And the third position is when, as in this case, green-orange stands between the green and orange center, but white looks up. Each of the three situations has its own solution. Let's start with the situation when the corner looks to the right. Once again, make sure that it stands in its place, and only now we do an algorithm. We hold the corner so that it looks to the right side and grab the cube with our hand as I show. The algorithm is called sexy move. Repeat after me. Turn the right side clockwise. Then turn the upper side clockwise. Then turn the right side back. Turn it counterclockwise. And the upper side back, turn it counterclockwise. As you can see, this algorithm has put the corner in its place. The next situation is when our corner is the white side to the left. This corner should be kept on the left. Once again, make sure it stands in its place. Green, orange. Turn the side between green and orange center. So we hold the corner that looks to the left to our left, and we make the same sexy move but with the left hand. Repeat after me. Left side counterclockwise. Top side counterclockwise. Left side clockwise and top side clockwise. The same but mirrored algorithm put our corner in its place. The last situation is when the corner on the top side is white up. Again, we make sure that it stands between these colors, red, green, red, green. It is in its place. Such a corner must be placed on the right and repeat a sexy move 3 times. We do it with our right hand. We repeat it again. And again. 3 identical algorithms put such a corner in its place. As you can see, the white color has not yet been assembled, but the upper side no longer has a white corner. This situation may occur, which means that the white is somewhere below, for example, here. In order to be able to work with it, it must be moved to the top side, and for this we just do a sexy move with the right hand. It doesn't matter which side it's turned to, we just do. Now this corner is on the top face, and we already know what to do next, no matter how it looks. In this case, white is looking up. This means that you have to make 3 sexy moves with the right hand. 1, 2, 3. Now we finally assembled a white side and the correct first layer. Congratulations, this is the end of the second stage, but there may be an unpleasant situation, for example, like this one. It seems that we have a properly assembled white color, but if you look carefully, then some corners are not in their places. So I will note once again, when you put the corner on top with right or left sexy move, check if it stands in its place. In this case, we simply insert this corner up with an ordinary sexy move. If it stands out of place, that is, it doesn't coincide in colors, just do a sexy move with the right hand. Now that it is already on top, again pay attention to put it between its centers. Here red-blue between red and blue. And do only the necessary algorithm. In this case it looks to the left, so we do the left sexy move. And now it remains to put the last orange-blue between orange and blue. Right algorithm. Now you know what to do even in the most difficult situations. Moving on. The next stage will be very fast, and we will move from the completely solved first layer to the next two layers. Let's start. We can completely solve the second layer only by putting edges in their place, here in these positions. And there are only 4 of them. We will put edges here from the upper side. Therefore, on the upper side, we need to find an edge that doesn't have a yellow color. Because on the second layer, there is no yellow center. Let's start. This edge is on the top, but it has a yellow color, so it doesn't suit us. This edge is on the top too, but it's yellow again, and it doesn't fit us. But this edge is suitable because here is blue and red. In order to do a necessary algorithm, we need to prepare for it by putting this edge near the center of the same color. You already know how to do this. Turn the top side and follow our detail until the colors match here. That's it. Now the part is in its original place. As you can see, this part has blue and red color, and therefore it should fit between the blue and red center. Right here, to the right. In order to put it in its place, we don't even need to learn new algorithms, just use the same old sexy move. To do this, look again at where the edge should go. If it should go to the right, we make such an additional movement with the upper side to the left, in the opposite direction, as if we were hiding this edge from the right place. So, the top side to the left, and then we make the right sexy move. Rotation and left sexy move. As you can see, this algorithm put the edge in place. Let's try it again with this edge right here. Orange-blue, put it in its place, and look again. It has to go to the right, which means that we start by removing this edge to the left with this movement. Then we do the right sexy move, rotate the cube in this way, and the left sexy move, as if we put this corner in place from the previous part. Edge is in its place. A mirror situation may also arise when the edge doesn't go to the right side, but to the left. We do everything the same, but with the other hand. We have to make sure that it should go here, so we move it now in the other direction, to the right. Next we do left sexy move, rotation and right sexy move. Let's practice again. The edge stands in its place. Red-green should go to the left, which means we start with additional movement to the right. Next we do a sexy move with the left hand. Rotation, so that we can do an algorithm with the right hand. By the way, do you remember we put such corners with only one algorithm? This is the case. Very simple, but at this stage there are also unpleasant exceptions, and we need to know how to work with them. For example, imagine that you don't have a single edge on the top side. They all contain yellow, and none of them is suitable. This means that the necessary edges are somewhere on the middle layer, but not in their place, as you can see in this situation. And this means that we need to move the wrong edge up. And you can do it with the same algorithm. For example, by placing instead of this wrong edge, any of the edges from the top. Let's put this edge over here. If this goes here, we turn, right sexy move, rotation, left sexy move. And now we have the necessary edge on the top with which we can work. For example, this one should be here. this one here. And again, something is wrong. There is not a single correct edge. For some reason, each of them stand in their place, but turned over incorrectly. In this case, it is necessary to do absolutely the same. We put any part with a yellow color instead of a necessary edge. It appears on the top, and we already know how to work with it. And, unfortunately, the same situation repeated with this edge. It must again be moved to the top. Let's put this instead. It fell into place and drew our edge to the top face. And we already know how to cope with this situation. This way, the third stage of solving was done quickly and easily. Moving on to the upper face of the cube. At the next stage, we have to assemble the yellow cross on our cube in such a way as not to destroy anything else. The cross looks like this, and as always, we have several possible situations. In this case, there are 4. As you can see, around the central part of the yellow side, there can be different positions of yellow edges. For example, when around the yellow center, all 4 yellow edges pointing yellow upwards, this means that your cross is solved. And in this case, we just skip this stage, but there are some other situations. Let's start with the simplest. When around the yellow center, there are 2 yellow edges out of 4 that stand in such a way that we can draw a line like this. We have to do the following algorithm. First, this line should be kept not vertically, but horizontally. Like this is such a minus or dash. And do the next algorithm. The first move that needs to be done is we turn the front face that is in front of us clockwise. After that, we do a right sexy move. And turn the front side back. That is, we turn it counterclockwise. As you can see, we already have a cross of yellow details. That is, around the central part, all 4 edges are yellow. I remind you that at the stage of solving the cross, we ignore the position of all corners, we look only at the edges. The next situation is when around the yellow cross, we also have 2 yellow edges, but they don't draw a line, but such an angle. In this case, we must hold the cube in front of us, so that one part looks up and the other to the left. Imagine that this is the watch face and your watch shows 9 o'clock. We do a completely similar algorithm with one small nuance. Repeat after me. We turn the front side clockwise and do a right sexy move. And then one more sexy move. Then turn the front side counterclockwise. As you can see, again we have solved a yellow cross. I remind you that we ignore the position of the corners, we look only at the edges. And the last situation is when there is not a single yellow edge around the yellow part. In this case, we first make the first algorithm. Imagine that we have a stick and turn the front side. Right sexy move, return the front side back. And then we have this situation. We take the cube in the correct position. I remind you, 9 o'clock. And we solve the second situation, namely the front face, 2 sexy moves, return a front side, and we have solved a cross. And for the third or fourth time, I remind you that it doesn't matter what our corners look like. We ignore them. Let's try to determine which algorithm it is. If we don't look at the yellow corners, but only at the yellow edges, we will understand that this is a situation called line. We hold it horizontally, turn the front side, sexy move, turn it back, the cross is solved. If we don't look at the corner here, but only at the edges, we understand that this is the second situation, namely the front side, two algorithms, and turn back. And if we don't look at the corners here, but only at the edges, we understand that this is the third situation. First, we turn a front side, one algorithm, turn back, and then again, it's a 9 o'clock situation, because we are not looking at corners, only at edges. In this situation, we turn the front side, two sexy moves, and turn the front side back. Well, folks, I congratulate you. There are only 2 stages left to a fully solved Rubik's Cube in your hands. And the task of this stage is to turn a yellow cross to a completely solved yellow side. Let's start with 2 basic and very simple algorithms that we will need at this stage. I also want to note that at this stage we have to look only at the yellow parts. And if you look closely at the yellow parts from above, then the shape will remind us of a fish. Here is its head, this is its tail, and it swims, for example, in that direction, or in the other. But I remind you that we are looking at all yellow parts. And as you can see, in addition to the picture above, we have some more details on the sides. And they will help us determine which algorithm should be done at this stage. Let's start with the simple. The next algorithm is called Sune. How to determine the type of Sune. If we take a cube in such a way as if the fish floats to us, slightly tilt it and look from the front, we can see yellow parts not only from above. If the yellow part is on the right, then this is the Right Sune. And if the yellow part is on the left, then this is a Left Sune. Let's start with the Right Sune. If the fish is looking at us, then this is a part on the right, so this is a Right Sune, and we have to do this algorithm with our right hand. We hold the cube so that this part is on the right. Then, right hand, take the cube in this way and repeat after me. Right side clockwise, top side clockwise, right side counterclockwise. Top side clockwise, right side clockwise. Then we turn the upper side twice clockwise and turn the right side counterclockwise. As you can see from the position of the Right Sune, this algorithm completely solves yellow color. Let's try to solve it again. Take your Rubik's Cube by any part, no matter where the details are. We will just study this algorithm. Repeat after me. It is quite similar to the already known to us sexy move, because it starts the same. Right side clockwise, top clockwise, lower a right face back and push the top face clockwise. Then we return the right side on the top so that this block is assembled. Double turn and lower the right side. The same with the Left Sune. Make sure again that it is Left Sune. The part is on the left, hold it in the left hand and do the same algorithm but mirrored. Left side counterclockwise, upper side counterclockwise, left side clockwise, upper side counterclockwise again, left side up, double turn of the upper side, and left side down. Same thing again, just like the left sexy move. The fish floats to us, we have a part here, hold it in your left hand and go. Now that you've learned these 2 algorithms, let's learn how to apply them. All in all, there can be 7 different cases on the yellow side, and now I will show them all to you. Don't worry, they are all solved by the same algorithms. Let's start with the Sune. Our fish, which you already know, it is on the right. We make sure it's Right Sune, we're keeping it by the tail on the right side and doing a Sune. As you can see, after this algorithm, we have completely solved yellow side. The Left Sune, this is the one that has on the left here a part that looks at us, is done with the left hand. This algorithm solves the Left Sune. The following situations can also be solved with Sune. For example, such a situation may arise, which is called eyes, due to the fact that all but 2 yellow parts are assembled and they look at us both. They are eyes, a pair of yellow eyes. In order to solve eyes, you need to do a Right Sune, then make a double turn, and this is, as you can see, the Left Sune. Then next we do the Left Sune. Thus, the situation eyes was solved thanks to our 2 Sunes. Moving on. This situation is quite similar to the previous one. All yellow, except for 2 neighboring ones, are assembled here, but they don't look at us, but to the sides. This situation is called ears or T-case. They should be placed in such a way that they are on the left side, as if they were listening to something. And T-case is also solved with a Sune. First, we do the Right Sune, and now, even visually, we can notice that we need to do the Left Sune. The yellow side is solved. Moving on. When the yellow side is assembled, except for the 2 details, but they are not eyes or ears, but are so far apart, this situation is called L case. And it looks like number 8. We should hold the cube so that one detail looks at us and the other to the right. And all we have to do is the same Sune with our right hand, and then we have a Sune again. We make such a turn to fit this part on the left, and then do a Sune with our left hand. The yellow side is solved. The next situation is when none of the corners are up, but if we look at them, they look like eyes and another eyes. It's called double eyes or H case. Let's take a cube so that some eyes look in one direction and others in the opposite direction, left and right. From this position we do Right Sune, and another Right Sune. The yellow side is solved. The last situation is also with 4 wrong corners. We have eyes or U case on one side and ears or T case on the other. It's called pi case and I call it helicopter, as if these are its propellers and these are its headlights and this is something else. Write in the comments what it looks like. We hold the cube in such a way that the eyes or headlights of the helicopter look to the left and do again a Right Sune. If you look closely, it will be necessary to make such a turn And this is again a Right Sune. And again the yellow side is solved. This stage is solved. As you can see, any case in this supposedly complex stage can be solved by the same algorithm. Sune, right or left. As speedcubers say, if you don't know what to do, do Sune. This stage was a little more difficult than the previous one, and it requires more attention from you, so I urge you to watch it again. Just rewind this video. Examine the Right Sune, the Left Sune, and also attentively examine and record in memory all 7 cases that may arise at this stage of solving the yellow side. You will definitely succeed, but be attentive. And as you can see, we're so close to getting a fully solved Rubik's Cube. Now you have in your hands a cube that looks approximately like this. Quite a bit is left to a fully solved cube. So you can like this video right now and continue this training with great inspiration. The task of this stage is, without destroying anything on the cube, to make all the parts fall into place to such a state. We will work again with the upper side, but we need to look not from the top, because everything is solved on the top, but from the sides. The position of these details is interesting to us. And for this, you need to study 2 more algorithms. Let's start. With the first algorithm, you can correctly put all corners. Let me remind you that corners are these parts, and so far we focus only on them. What is the difference between correct corners and incorrect at this stage? Let's just look at the cube and at the corners. For example, this corner will be considered correct, because it stands in its place and each part is coincides with its color with the neighboring one. This corner will also be considered correct, because yellow, red and green coincide with their centers. But these 2 corners, which have blue-red and blue-orange, are wrong, because they don't match with their centers. If you think logically, then all that needs to be done at this stage is to swap these 2 corners. For this, we use the following algorithm, which is called J-permulation. I assure you, it's not as complicated as its name. Okay, let's give it a try. So, take a cube in your hands and let's try to swap these corners. I have these 2 corners and you have these 2 same corners on your cube. To do this, repeat after me. Right side clockwise, top side double turn clockwise, right side counterclockwise. Then the upper side counterclockwise, the right side clockwise, and again the double turn of the upper side. Next we use our left hand. Turn the left side counterclockwise, the upper side clockwise, the right side counterclockwise, upper side counterclockwise, and left side clockwise. And as you can see, this algorithm has swept these 2 corners. I understand that so far it sounds difficult, but I'm sure that right now you will be able to master this algorithm. I want to tell you how I memorized these motions when I first learned J-perm algorithm. I will try to explain. Repeat after me. At first, it's like I'm doing a regular sexy move, but not with 1 turn of the top side, but with 2. Then we come to this case. Now I see such a square of yellow and an extra detail in it. And it just needs to be cut off with this block, as if I cut it off, put it there. Now we make a double turn. And again we get some kind of square and like something extra. Now we cut off this extra on the left side. Great, we got a correct square. Next I'm going to combine this white part over here with this block. And I'm going to turn around the top side. And now in one move I'm kind of putting this whole bar down. And all that is left is to connect the same bar to the left and put it down. And the algorithm looks like this. Now that you've learned J-perm, let's learn how to use it properly. As you remember, J-perm works with corners. It swaps them, but the situations can be different. Now we're looking exclusively at corners. As you can see, if we make a few turns, we can put our corners in place. And if we have 4 such corners, then you will not need this algorithm. But you have at least 2 corners to coincide. For example, this one doesn't coincide. This one doesn't coincide, but these two, they stand in the places. So our task is to swap these corners. This is the first case. And the second is the same, but as you can see, we have 2 diagonal corners coinciding. That is, this one stands in its place, this one in its place, and we need to swap 2 diagonal corners. In the first and in the second case, J-perm is used. But here we do J-perm 1 time and there twice. No matter where we have these corners, just do J-perm. And now, if you look closely, we have in any case 2 neighboring corners coincide. One will stand still, neighboring, and these 2 need to be swapped. And this is what ordinary J-perm does. So in the second case we have to do J-perm twice. Do J-perm a second time. And we have all the corners standing in the places. So to sum up, if we have everything standing in place, J-perm will not be needed. If we have 2 parts that we need to change this way, we do 1 J-perm. And if we need to change this situation, we do 2 J-perms. After using this algorithm, as you can see, we have this situation. Everything looks almost assembled, but now we need to work with edges, and the edges are here. And here we need to learn another, a bit easier algorithm called U-perm. Yes, I know they have weird names, but it doesn't matter. Let's study U-perm right now. So take your Rubik's Cube either side, no matter where you have the parts now. We will study it right now. Repeat after me. Turn a right side twice. Upper face clockwise. Right clockwise. Upper clockwise. Right counterclockwise. Upper counterclockwise. Right counterclockwise. Upper counterclockwise. Right counterclockwise. Upper clockwise. Right counterclockwise. Now let me explain how I memorized this algorithm when I first studied it, to make it easier for you. Repeat after me. First, we just turn the right side, and then repeat. Upper right, upper right, and turn back. Right counter, upper counter, right counter, upper counter. And again, the right goes counterclockwise. Next, we need to combine this white in one bar and put at the bottom. That's it. This is how you can easily remember this algorithm. And now let's look at how this algorithm works. U-perm is the movement of three parts one by one along a triangular direction. We will move the edges, because U-perm is working with edges. This edge goes to the adjacent side, this one also to the adjacent, and this goes in place of the first edge. That is, U-perm makes these edges move clockwise. Notice, it will not touch our back edge. So, if you see a fully assembled face in front of you, you need to turn it like this and boldly do a U-perm. Repeat after me. A cube is solved, but that's not all. Now that you've learned U-perm, you know how it works, let's learn how to use it in different cases. The first case, as always, is a situation where we don't need to do anything. We have already solved a cube, that's great, but we will take a look at other cases. So we have this case where one block at the back is assembled and these edges, red will go to the red side, blue to the blue, green to the green. That is, you need to once move all these three parts clockwise. So, in this case, we need just one U-perm. A cube is solved. There is also such a case, very similar. At the back we have everything solved, but here are three parts that need to be swapped. But look, in this case they have to change counterclockwise. In this situation we have to do not one, but two U-perms. We have now come to the previous situation and it is solved by another U-perm. We do it. A cube is solved. Or we may have a situation where we have no assembled block on either side. Then we just make our U-perm from either side. And then we have a situation with assembled block and three parts that need to be moved clockwise. Green to green, red to red, orange to orange. Here we need one more U-perm. And the last situation seems to be the same, but there may be some differences. When we make U-perm here from either side, we will have the same story. But it will be necessary to move these parts not clockwise, but counterclockwise. So in this case we perform not one U-perm, but two. That's it. As you can see, one algorithm can cope with these four different cases. But that's not all. It may be that you don't solve Rubik's Cube because of such an unfortunate situation. This occurs if your cube was either mechanically disassembled and then you tried to assemble it in parts, or you accidentally turned over the corner. There is no solution to such situation using algorithms. So in such a situation you need to fix it physically by simply turning the corner with your hands or changing the position of the edge. To do it, you need to disassemble a cube and insert the edge correctly. And only then you can solve your Rubik's Cube using algorithms. By the way, if you are now holding a solved Rubik's Cube in your hands, I sincerely congratulate you. And if you don't understand something from this tutorial, you can watch this video at any time from either stage. For your convenience, there are time codes in the description. So folks, I urge you to practice, learn these algorithms and solve Rubik's Cube by yourself. And the best way to thank me for this tutorial is to become my sponsor. I will be very grateful. hit the like button, write a comment and watch other videos on my channel. That was CUBASTIC, thank you all so much for watching, bye everyone and have a good time.